My word. So I had an experience while reading this book. I was sitting in the chair reading this book when I felt like something was crawling up my leg. And I slapped down at my leg, nothing there. And I thought something was crawling on my other leg, and I slapped down at my other leg, nothing there. And the whole time I read this book, I kind of kept checking the corners. I kind of kept checking the ceiling because I do not love spiders. But I read a book about spiders. Yes, I did. I read Monsterious Book 3, Terror in Shadow Canyon by Matt McMann. Oh, I will just give you the fair warning. If you are really afraid of spiders, don't read this book. It will get under your skin because this book, Matt McMahon just captured all the creepy and crawly of spiders and supersized it to a monstrous level. And that is probably the most terrifying spider book I've ever read in my life. Yes, this book was a lot of fun to read, but it was also so disturbing on a spidery level. So let's talk about it because we need to talk about this book. So this is the third book in the Monsterious series by Matt McMann. Each book in the series is a standalone story. It's an anthology series. It's kind of harkening back to the days of Goosebumps, where you had some like middle grade age kids that are like 7th, 8th, 6th grade around there, and they are facing down some kind of terrifying thing and have to fight their way out of it. The thing I really love about Matt McMahon's books is the monsters in these books are not teased until the very end. You know, in a lot of film that are like monster movies and things like that, sometimes monsters are kind of teased. Like you see the leg, you see the hand, you see the eyes and the glowing in the distance. But then you never actually see the monster until the very, very end. And sometimes it's disappointing. But in this series, the monsters usually show up about halfway through. And sometimes before that. And they are all the way shown up in these books. It's not like, oh, we saw just a part of that monster and now it's gone, like in a lot of Goosebumps books. Goosebumps books will kind of drag out those supernatural elements quite a bit until the very end, and then there's like a 30-page kind of romp through what's happening with a ghost or with a creature or all those sorts of things. But in the Monsterious series, the action really does start right away. You get some ominous moments probably in that first third, and then the last 2/3 are just straight up monstery action trying to like figure out how they're going to survive the situation. So in this book, Tegan and his two friends, along with his friend Ning's mom Yanae and his dad Ed, head out camping on a like week-long camping trip. Tegan's mom was supposed to come on the trip, but she wasn't able to, and so his dad had to come instead. And Tegan and his dad, they don't get along very well, and so they're kind of at odds. As they head out into Shadow Canyon, they kind of start thinking, oh, there's something kind of weird out here. There's these weird stones in the ground. There's these weird kind of sticky tree roots. And there are some really strange upside down roots that are kind of sticking up in the air everywhere we look. And suddenly, when they become lost in the woods, they discover that there is a creature hunting them down. And that creature is none other than a giant spider. Ooh. So the rest of the book is just them trying to survive each and every moment in the woods as they are lost, trying to find their way out. And this spider is smart, it is hungry, and it's coming for them. Oh, this book was so much fun. I had such a great time reading it. I really enjoyed it. Once again, Matt McMahon really amps up the action here. There's a lot of great fun action sequences that are easy to follow. Sometimes some authors can get a little bit lost when they write action scenes, and it kind of becomes a little bit of a jumbled mess, and you're wondering, wait, what exactly is happening where? You can really clearly picture what is going on throughout each beat of these action scenes in this book, which I really loved. I thought was a great, well done job. You also have a tiny bit of mystery here. There's a little bit of what are some of these things that are happening? They come across some different things throughout the woods that they're wondering, what is this? And it gets revealed later on really well. You also have some kind of twist pieces near the end that I thought were really well done, some good reveals and things. So all of those pieces were great. But where this book shines is in the character development. I was not prepared for the character development that took place in this book because it was something I have never ever read in a kid's book before. And I think that's because this is written in 2023, in a more modern day where people are a little more honest about the failings of adults in kids' books. There's this thing that kind of happened a long time ago where in some kids' books a long time ago, adults were just infallible people who never did anything wrong, and they were usually kind of billed as ultimate authority. They always knew the right things, they had the right advice, all those sorts of things. Then you had this kind of swing away from that, and I really think it's thanks to Harry Potter, because in Harry Potter, the adults are often useless. They are not helpful, and if they are good and they seem like they could be helpful, they get killed. So there's definitely a swing away from that where it's up to the kids. The kids are the only ones who can do it. And to this book, which is a wonderful middle of the road balance. Because Tegan and his dad don't get along. And there is such an open, honest conversation about Tegan and his dad's relationship, about why they don't get along, about the differences that they have. And it was very interesting to see there's a confrontation scene that takes place between them in the midst of all this stuff that's going on that just grounds this book in reality in such a great way. And it's something that I think the book needs, because if this book was just nonstop from beginning to end spider action, it would get a little tiring. You need these moments where you can take a quick breath, but it's in the building of these relationships. It's not just a moment to, we're going to sit and look at the campfire and talk about campfire-y things. It's really intentionally done so that way the characters are built, the plot is built, there's tension that is built, and there are some great callbacks throughout this book to things that happened previously already on this trip that you can see the characters dealing with later on, where things come into play and where things are pulled back together really well. So this conversation between Tegan and his dad is just so well written, and it felt so authentic to, I think, 2023, 2024 time, where you do have the reality that all people make mistakes, adults and kids. And that's what happens in this book. The adults make mistakes, the kids make mistakes. And it's never, oh, the adults are totally infallible, or, oh, the kids are the ones who really know what's up and they can figure it out. No, it's really the adults and the kids have to work together, which is another thing I really loved about this book. One of the things that sometimes middle grade fiction has a hard time with is figuring out what to do with adults. Because there are times when, in some plot lines, an adult could just come in and would be like, oh, let's just blah, 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 or let's call the police, or let's call the firefighter, or let's call this, or do that, and we'll figure out the information we need, or we'll find the thing we need. Or, oh, you don't need to take care of that, I'll just go take care of it. And I think that this book does a great job of tying the adults and the kids together in the plot, where they both have to be there very organically. There's not a way for one of the set of adults or kids to get out by themselves. They have to work together, so that is organically built into this plot. It's not just a side thing, or it's not explained away where well, we couldn't find the adults, or the adults were never listening to us. Like a lot of excuses that happen in other kids' books where the kids try to tell adults things, but then it never goes well or it doesn't work. This was a great book on that front. I really think that Matt McMann has hit his stride with this book. I think book number 1 was a lot of action and way more on that side. Book number 2 was a little bit slowed down, and now book number 3, I think, hits the balance perfect. I think this book really hit that balance between lots of action, good mystery, terrifying monster, but also character development. That's earned, it's organic, and you feel it. I felt it in this book. Near the end, I was like, wow, that was really powerful. I really enjoyed the journey the characters went on, and not just the journey of running from these spiders and trying to figure out what to do, but also the emotional journey that they went on. It was just so well done. I can't wait to read book 4 and then book 5, because I think if this is where Matt McMann is already at on book 3, I can't wait to see what book 4 is like. So at the end of the day, I gave this book 4.5 stars. I thought it was so much fun. It was such a great read. Definitely one to check out. If you like spooky stories, if you like middle grade fiction that is like monster focused, get these books. What are you waiting for? They're so good. So well done. Also, there are some Easter eggs. Even though this is an anthology series, there are Easter eggs to the other books that you can find in this one. So it came near the very, very end, and I was like, oh, there it is, the little Easter egg to that book. So that makes it a lot of fun for readers of the whole series. You can also jump in, though, wherever you want. You don't have to read these in order. So you could start with this book and go to the other ones if you want to, because they're all an anthology series. There's not repeating characters or anything like that. So, again, what are you waiting for? Get this book. Get this series. These are so good. They are definitely on my top list. I'm going to tell you right now, my top 10 list for this year is going to be really difficult to figure out, because I've been reading so many great books so far this year. What books have you been reading? Have you read Monsterious yet? If you haven't, why haven't you? Get to your library, get to your bookstore, go get these books and read them today. All right, until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye.